And we're live.
And we're live. Dylan,
Woo!
welcome
Thank you.
to your own podcast.
And my own house. I pay rent, you know.
I do live here too, but how are you?
No, good. Nervous, but let's do this.
Nervous podcast debut?
Yeah, never really been in front of a camera like this. Like
Have
at
you?
all. No.
At least not in a way that's allowed to be put on YouTube.
Yeah, like publicly.
Have you ever been like, I was going to say, have you never been on the news before? But I guess not that many people have been on the news.
I've been on the news actually.
Oh, but they dropped the charges though, didn't they?
Fuck. No, so that was like an award, like footy award, and it was like a small snippet, and I was too young to even really realise what was happening.
Yeah, right.
Like I obviously knew it was a big camera, but like you don't, you really comprehend like people are really going to watch this.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to judge me no matter what. Back then, like, I don't know, I just didn't really consider it. I was probably too naive. So this is a bit more real.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like the first, because obviously I have another podcast, True Footy podcast, plug that.
I didn't know about that.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I had no
that's a
idea.
weird coincidence.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've deleted about 50 podcasts in my time, and or nearly 60 now. But yeah, no, literally the most awkward part is
How many have you saved?
Actually, I shouldn't use the phrase like deleted because it's like people don't know what that means.
No.
But yeah, but the most awkward part is always literally the intro.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's fine. Mm-hmm. You get better at like navigating the pauses and stuff. But I guess we should probably clarify for people. Why are we here, Dylan? What is the point of this podcast? The Coulworld podcast.
Yeah, well, geez, I don't really know where to start. I guess it's just a creative project. As we're getting older, work sort of starts to dominate your life a lot more, and I just wanted a creative project, and I was sitting on this idea for a while, and then I finally went to you to see what you thought about it. You liked it. You want to jump on board, so I was like, cool. I guess it's happening now.
Did you mean sort of like when you spoke to me? Was it more like as a guest at first?
No, it was literally just like, because you had a podcast and you do quite well with yours, I just wanted to say like, hey, what did you think if I did this?
Oh, so not as a guest, just want your advice.
Yeah, I guess.
Cool.
Initially. And then when you said you're keen to jump on, I was like,
Yeah.
cool. I just didn't know how much,
fair.
how much free time you have with everything that goes on. So
Not a lot.
no, I can imagine, but
Yeah. No, that's cool. Well, it makes sense. Like, I feel like us doing a podcast was something that was coming up for a while. Like, we've been talking about that for years. Like, literally every time we have beers, we're like, we should do a podcast together.
Oh, it was always, I should go on your podcast.
Yeah, True Footy.
Yeah, and I guess that's what sparked the idea. And you were definitely a big, like, True Footy was definitely an inspiration behind it. And then I think when you started True Footy, I wasn't into podcasts at all. And then I started watching podcasts once I saw like you operate it and get into it.
Yeah.
Started watching Joe Rogan like a lot more. I mean, I dabbled with it before, but watched Joe Rogan a lot more. I watched a bit of Impulsive. True Geordie.
I love True
Watch him a
Geordie.
little bit. I think
That's where the true comes from, as I've said like 5 times on my own podcast.
Oh, really?
But yeah, that's where the true.
I did make the connection, but I guess you didn't know for sure. But interesting.
Yeah. No, that's cool. So you do you watch podcasts or do you listen to them?
No, I watch them.
Yeah, I watch
I
them as well.
don't know why I like the visual.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Is it easier to follow I feel like it's easier to follow a conversation when you're watching them for a
Probably.
read.
Yeah. Oh, it must be. Yeah.
Because I guess it's a long time, so zoning out with audio is very easy.
True. Yeah. That's what sucks as well. Like when I lose track, if I'm listening to something and I tune out for a while, like it's harder to know how long I've been tuned out for as well. If that makes sense.
And what you've missed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good start.
Podcast sponsored by Heineken. Oh, actually, I should actually mention True Footy did just get sponsored. I can probably talk about that now.
Let it fly.
You've heard of the company called Manscaped?
So it's when you brought it up, I was probably a week ago, I was seriously considering buying it.
Really?
Yeah, I had it like in the cart and everything.
Oh, if you hold off, you might get 20% discount.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Well, this is not a sponsored message. I'm just bringing up casually in conversation the fact that True Footy might have a sponsorship deal down the line. So that's cool. I got to talk about an experience where I have shaved my balls and it didn't go well.
I don't think I've had any like injuries from shaving.
Have you ever used Veet?
Oh yeah, but not on my nuts. No, I use it on my legs and stuff back in footy, like when I was strapping my knee.
It does explicitly say don't put it on your nuts.
Really?
So yeah.
And face. I know someone that put it on their face and like.
What? Why?
Yeah.
Was it a chick?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because that makes sense. Why wouldn't you just shave?
Shave, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. Anyway, how did we get here?
Wow, that's the beauty of podcast, I suppose.
Manscaped, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel like we should go back to the whole starting of the podcast thing. Yeah. So so you wanted a creative project, you want a creative outlet from like your work. So what do you do for the people who don't know at home? What do you do for work? You
I'm
can be
a
as vague as you want.
graduate property valuer.
Do you find you're creative in that role much?
It is a little bit creative because there's multiple methods of valuation. So you can be creative in the way that you look at it and the way that you assess it, which is cool, which is what I like. There's not just like one way of doing it, and you could get 5-6 different valuers to value it, and they'll all value it different.
Oh, okay.
And they'll probably all get different numbers. It'll be in the same range, but like it's creative in that sense, which is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, sweet. How long have you been doing that?
Well, 3 years of uni, and then a year in my traineeship, 2-year traineeship. And then after that, hopefully I'm a fully licensed valuer.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, nice one, man. So like the pod is kind of just like a way to balance out your life where you get to do something like...
Yeah, it's like I was just working 9-10 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then on the weekends, I just wasn't utilising it. I was just like being lazy. So I also used to do a lot of music, and music sort of took a step back. Like I'm finding it hard to like get into that. So I still wanted like something creative, and this just seemed to like fit the mold.
I think you should make music for the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be hard though. I don't know. I've got a friend that's really good at like he calls it elevator music.
Oh yeah. That's sick.
Alex from Horry.
Oh yeah.
So he makes cool like elevator music.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I could. I feel like I'm more of a lyricist.
Oh, really? A writer?
Just because I listen to a lot of rap, and like all my songs rhyme in some way.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
Well, they're not raps though, so they don't need a rhyme.
But songs rhyme that are not raps.
Do they?
Yeah.
I feel like if you got lyrics from just like a pop song, they probably...
No, they all fucking rhyme, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, looks like I'm doing nothing different.
We just got our first TikTok clip.
Damn. And I look like an idiot. I'm going viral.
That's funny, as. But yeah, no, that's cool. So I guess content of the podcast. What's the idea behind it? What kind of podcast you want it to be? What's the vision?
Yeah, I feel like it's everything and anything. I do definitely want to base it around like friends and guests.
Yeah. And
get people on that I know that are like successful or high level in some sort of field.
Okay.
Whether it's fitness, like...
like Joe Rogan, really.
Yeah. So he gets cool guests on. So I would like to do that, although it's obviously more limited for us because we don't have access to very famous people.
No. You really do start to... Not that I would really know, but I've been doing a potty for 2 years, but I'm sure the doors will open up if you build the foundation of the thing.
Yeah. And
sure.
like collab.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like we're doing right now, technically. Kind of a collab. Yeah.
I feel like collabs have really taken off. Like even in the fashion world, you get a lot of collabs now.
Okay.
Like the brand Off-White, they collab with like Nike, and it'll literally say like Off-White X Nike collab.
Oh, so they get together like a joint venture to do a design.
And they'll just do like one drop.
Yeah, right.
And it'll be limited stock, and it goes crazy.
That's cool.
So like I've just noticed it a lot, and I don't know if it's because social media is popping more that it's. I just feel like the collab culture is seemed to like pick up a little bit.
Oh, that's interesting.
Random, but yeah.
Interesting observation. Yeah, it's certainly the case in the AFL YouTube world, which is kind of like my niche. Do you know what I mean? Like we're starting to all. There's been an explosion of collabs, and I guess developing of collaborative culture. Like when I first started, at the risk of going down a tangent, when I first started the YouTube thing in like 2018, no one was collaborating. Collaborating. Nah, nobody was collaborating, and now it's like weekly videos of.
Does anyone other than Dylan Buckley have a podcast?
Mitch Robinson.
True, you did mention that.
Yeah.
Is that it?
No. Zaharakis has one.
Oh.
He's got one. It's called The Pros and the Cons. Shit name, but I never listened to the podcast either. But
I feel like he's got such a cool last name. You could have done so much more with that.
Yeah, causing a Zaharakis. Straight off the bat, 1 second in. That's not bad.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
Also, copyright. David Zaharakis.
Yeah,
I'm watching you if you change your name.
Yeah.
What made you want to jump on board
on this pod? Interesting question.
Well, because it could have very been like you could have given me the advice and then sort of said like, let me know if you need help. Like you wanted to be very hands on, which is cool because I mean, even just setting up this stuff, I was just literally watching you.
Oh yeah, true. This did fucking take ages to set up, hey, because obviously we're in a new set and we should actually mention that we've just moved in together.
Yep.
So roommates for the first time.
Yep. So Wednesday we moved in. It's for Saturday today.
Yeah, that's hot.
So Wednesday we moved in.
Makeshift furniture at the moment. It's literally just a couple of couches you brought over. And then a TV and some boxes.
So we kind of look like sitters at the moment.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Actually, because we got a big, no, you can't see it, but behind there we got like a big open sort of window. If anyone can see in, this looks like the biggest set of casting couch. There's no furniture other than this couch, some soft boxes and some mic stands. And
soft boxes and hard porn.
Yeah, I've seen that video. Nah, but yeah, if God help us if we have guests again. Just walk in and be like, what?
Yeah, I mean, if you walked in on this, it would definitely appear to be a casting couch.
Appear to be. But anyway, look, so I just like, I guess it's like quite layered the reason I want to do it because you and I we've had some ripping D&Ms over the years and just like chats and like, I don't know, we both have that personality where we can just talk our faces off.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get you on True Footy for ages for that reason. But even though you played footy and you're like a fucking gun player, you play for like East Fremantle and stuff, you don't particularly get analytical about footy.
Yeah.
You care less about it
these days.
Yeah, fair enough.
And it's funny because I spoke to a guy recently who did the same sort of path that I did. And he finds the same.
Yeah, okay.
And then he knows guys that I played footy with that all find the same. Like we just like sort of we just burnt out. And it's hard to really enjoy it these days.
Yeah, I notice even like, and this is getting way away from the question, but I'll cycle back to it. But like when kids, you can see, because I follow the draft every year in the AFL, once kids hit about 16 to get serious about footy, they stop going for the team that they supported. They just like, football becomes work for them and they kind of switch up. And I guess part of that is like, I'm going to maybe be moving to Victoria. I'm not going to keep going for Fremantle or the Eagles or something like that.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. But also I think, it's a case of just like, once it becomes work, like I work at Bunnings and I go home and like read articles or like surf like social media for like Bunnings stuff, you know what I mean?
It wouldn't happen.
Which is a shit analogy.
I also think as well, just coming from like a player perspective, you get to a certain age where guys that are in the AFL aren't that much older than you.
Yeah,
and so
true.
the like competitor in you kicks in and you start to see the guys and like, I remember I used to be like when I was 16, 17, I'd watch AFL and I would pick out players but like, I think I'm better than him. Like I think I'm better than him. And, like obviously I wasn't.
Yeah.
But it was just like in you that you just like... That you just really thought that way.
Yeah, you don't put them on a pedestal in the same way.
And they all of a sudden become competitors, like guys that you want to go against, and like you hope to be in one day. I remember when Gary, because I was a huge Geelong fan, when Gary Ablett Jr. left to go to Gold Coast that first time. I remember like I used to have dreams like for months on about like playing against him and like getting him holding the ball and all this like because he went from like a hero to I was like now I can like
wow
your hero becomes your enemy, I guess.
Yeah, that's funny. That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's the same. Even as a fan who wasn't talented enough to like get anywhere near the AFL, but even like now, I
see you play Curtin Wills's threes and half back, BOG. I'd call it.
Bit of rebound.
Yeah, a bit of Corey Enright about it.
Because of that. I mean, like. Now that I'm older or as old as a lot of these Eagles players, I do find it hard to idolise them in the same way. Like I'm just like, Dom Sheed's like 2 years younger than me. And I absolutely love the bloke, but it's not like in the same way. It's almost like, you're...
Yeah, I mean, when you're younger, they were just gods. Like they were immortal. Yeah. Not humans.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
And then I think that's why I like NBA more now. It's because they're a lot older.
Yeah, true. Okay. So, wait, are they?
Well...
I just agreed and then thought about it.
I mean, like look... All the best, like...
I mean, you're 24, so...
there's...
Or 25.
No one near 25 is the best player in the league. Okay. But then I feel like you could have... I mean...
How old's LeBron?
This is the thing. So Kobe Bryant retired at 40.
Wow, yeah,
so you play for much longer. So you come in early. You come in at 18, same age. Yeah. But you play for an extra 10 years.
That's
so
sick.
LeBron's 34, 35.
Okay.
Still got probably another 5-6 years. So, yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know why it's weird when they're the same age as you, and it's just hard to.
Oh yeah.
Love them the same.
It makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Because you don't look up to them the same way. It's just, I guess, it's an ego thing. Just a part of becoming a man.
Yeah, it's definitely an ego thing.
Yeah,
it's definitely an ego thing.
Really long-winded tangent from what you asked me. So I wanted to get you on True Footy, and we would talk shit, and that's how we started talking about how you don't really follow football that closely anymore. But one thing I noticed is like when I started True Footy, I don't know if you remember, but me and Joyce were like, we actually say in the first podcast, we're like, we don't want this to just be about footy. We want it to be about music, about movies, all this shit. Like True Geordie's podcast, like just talk about anything.
Why'd you put footy in the name then?
Because that was the main thing we were good at talking about.
Yeah, sure,
but you're onto it in the sense that like very, very quickly it became hard to
navigate away from it.
Yeah, it's so hard. And even on like YouTube likes focus, like in terms of the algorithm, so that it doesn't like it if you do an AFL video and then a movie review video of Finding Dory 2. Do you know what I mean? Like YouTube likes to know what your audience likes and wants to predict what your audience will watch next. So if you make AFL videos, YouTube will recommend AFL videos to your audience every time. But if you make an AFL video and then a few people watch it, when you make a Finding Dory 2 video, it doesn't know whether your audience is going to like it. Does that make sense? Like the algorithm works on consistency. The only people who do well on YouTube that are variety channels are people who are like almost like a celebrity level.
Yeah.
It's like purely trade off personality. So Logan Paul can do it every once.
Well, but he's still sticking to something because it's still vlogs.
Yeah. But I mean, he could do an NBA video and then do like I guess vlogging is versatile, but I mean, like if I was doing AFL analysis videos and then try to talk about Mission Impossible 2.
It's amazing that the algorithm can pick up like the content.
Well, it's just the keywords. It's the title thumb, not so much the thumbnail, but I guess the thumbnail. But yeah, titling and the first words of your description, like you need to get that on point.
Right. How much time did you put into studying the algorithm?
Oh, when I first started YouTube, I spent like tens upon tens of hours watching seminars of just understanding it. And it really boils down to...
That's hectic.
Yeah, I just got really into it.
It saves me from doing it though, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's the thing. You've got me to be like almost like your producer and marketing manager, which like I'm happy to do. But
I just get to rock up and talk.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm happy to do that. And that comes to the second part of why I want to do this pod with you is that like... I think, like I've been doing this for like 2.5 years. I love it. And I want to potentially do YouTube as a career or like work in digital media and stuff like that. So this is almost also like fleshing out my resume if you think about it. So I've got a fairly successful podcast for what it is with True Footy, even though it's still pretty small by most standards, but it's at least growing. And then if I can also, do this on the side, then I've sort of got a portfolio.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a CV.
Yeah. Or a second source of revenue if it becomes huge.
Yeah.
I don't know how big that we're going to become, but are you ambitious with it? How ambitious would you say you are with this YouTube thing?
I'd like
you're just dipping your toes in the water.
Yeah, and it depends what your metric of success is.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I definitely don't want to get famous. Obviously, and I don't think it will. Like I doubt we're going to be local balls.
Yeah.
But it's literally just the creative side. It's being able to have like cool, long-winded conversations, and coming up with cool ideas, getting cool guests. It's more about that. So like, my level of success will just be if I'm having fun with it. Yeah, I'm not too fussed about subscribers. Not too fussed about views and that kind of stuff. I mean, if it doesn't go anywhere, like, I'm definitely not going to be heartbroken. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. No, that's cool. I had that attitude when I started True Footy. You did?
Yeah, definitely.
You did? How much did you?
Because you just sound like a cock if you start going like, I'm going to become a fucking YouTube superstar.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even if you think it deep down.
But then it's like the law of attraction and talking things into existence. So I believe if you want it, you got to say it out. Yeah. But how much pressure did you put on yourself early days True Footy to pull in views? I
wouldn't call it pressure. I just fucking annihilated it. I think what happens is, and it would be interesting to see if this happens with you, but once you start growing and you see the numbers go up, you get that dopamine rush, and then it's like a video game. Like you just want to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
You're addicted.
Yeah, and sometimes you lose sight of like the content. Like I've noticed that with True Footy. Sometimes I'm just doing things that I know will bang views and get subscribers, but it's not what I want to do. Yeah.
Like I won't put a photo up on my Instagram if I know it won't pull in a good amount of likes.
Oh really? Yeah. Wow.
It's the same thing. Like once you hit 100, you can't. And once you hit 150, like the moment that you crack 200 likes, it's like from there. It's the exact same thing. It's like that dopamine, and you'll deliberately not put something up because you're like, nah, they're not gonna like that.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't get that with Insta personally.
Insta? Yeah. Maybe I'm just a fuckboy. I don't know.
Yeah. I fucking find it hard, just as an aside, as like a creator who does YouTube and stuff, to also do Instagram. Like, it's fucking hard. Like,
as in personal Instagram or True Footy
Nah,
Instagram?
the actual True Footy Instagram.
Okay.
Like, I'm really slack with it. And then I see other people
Onto it.
and they literally got more followers on Insta than they do on YouTube. And it's like, that's really smart. You should be trying to cross-promote. YouTube loves it when you bring people from other websites.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm a full bottle on this algorithm business.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, it's just funny to see like where YouTube came from.
Yeah.
Early days of YouTube to now. Like I remember just watching the most ridiculously stupid videos on YouTube. And now like you get like, I mean, Milk Boys and things like that, like they put like high quality production on YouTube.
Yeah, it's sick. I love it.
Like it's really impressive.
Yeah, like you literally just all started, it was all copyrighted content when you started. It was literally just sharing things you'd found on YouTube.
Yeah, right there.
There were no...
like Tumblr or like something like that.
Yeah, there were very little to no actual creators who were just putting out their own content. Because I guess there was no reward back then. Now YouTube's made it, you can make a career on YouTube really easily. Not easily, but it's very achievable.
Can make millions.
Yeah. Whereas back then, obviously, there was no real incentive. So YouTube's done that really, really smartly. But I love it. There's the amount of investment people put into their channels. There's like a fully... Like True Geordie, for instance, like he has a team of people doing the kickoff, and it's like
that's like editors.
That's my ambition.
And I know like Logan Paul has like a full like review team. Yeah, like I mean, ever since
and he still uploaded that video in Japan.
How did that slip through the gaps?
Yeah, well, apparently he waited was it like overnight or something like that? He decided whether or not he was going to upload it, so he thought about it long and hard and still uploaded it.
Yeah. That's it's a touchy one.
Yeah, it is a touchy one.
I don't want to get clipped.
Are you a Logan Paul man?
A fan of Logan Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been watching him like before the big incident.
The boxing.
Yeah. So before that, I was like a fan of his for like the daily vlogs. I just liked the 15, 20-minute videos of just like high impact, like a lot of adrenaline and just like craziness. It was just funny to watch and fun to look at. So I did like all that. And then I think what he's done now, like how he's transitioned like into what he does now. Yeah, I think is like really, he's definitely good at what he does. Like he's definitely like a creator, makes funny stuff, has like really good humor. So he's perfect for the scene. I must admit I didn't like him at first. Until it was almost like I like him more since the Japan thing because he actually transformed. It's about the bounce back.
Yeah.
It's how you bounce back.
And I don't know, like it could, if it is an act and he's not sincere, like it's one of the biggest acting performances I've ever seen because the guy seems like really humble and down to earth, whereas Jake Paul, his brother, could never fake that in the same way. Do you know what I mean? Like you could never believe Jake Paul's a good bloke.
No. And he was never as good as Logan.
No.
He was never as good as Logan. But I actually just bought Mike Malak's book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I saw his True Geordie podcast. That was nuts.
He's like, he talks a lot, but he is good. There's definitely moments that you wish he would like shut up for a minute.
Yeah.
Like he loves to ramble and just talks.
When I first watched Impulsive, I was like, this guy's so annoying.
The worst, right?
But yeah, he grows on you because you're like, he's actually smart.
Maybe the first 10 episodes, I was just like, man, who is this guy? Like I hated him.
Why did I have this guy?
I was like, this dude, like why is he on? And then like, he sort of grows in you and you find out about his story and his rise and it's all impressive. So I bought the book. I'm only like, I think I just finished maybe the first chapter.
Okay.
I'm not a very fast reader, not a very strong reader either. So it's prepare for like a 3-year battle with this book.
3 years.
It's exaggeration. I just want to blow it out so that if I finish early, I got some, I can flex on it.
No, that's sick. No, like he was addicted to like oxytocin and stuff like that. And like, I didn't even know what that really was. And people in high school, when he was going to high school, were like abusing it and dropping dead. And like, it wasn't even that much of a big deal from what he said.
Oxycontin as well.
Oxycontin, sorry. So oxytocin's is actually like what you produce. I think that's inside your body.
Right. Okay.
Oxycontin is what I meant to say.
And what they were doing was they were taking the slow release tablets and like cracking them and just like either sniffing or just swallowing the pure powder.
Yeah.
And so that like, from what he says, that stuff's basically heroin.
That's fucked.
Heroin. And like, I had knee surgery, so like I was on that stuff. I was on Tramadol.
Okay.
So I was on Tramadol, which was like every 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
And then I was on, I forget the other one, but there was this other hardcore one that's like slow releasing. Mm-hmm. And I could only take that like mornings and night.
Yeah.
And I mean, going through that experience, like, yeah, I didn't get addicted. I didn't feel the need, but you can just tell. You can just see why it would. Like, it does feel great.
Yeah.
And I obviously needed it because I had screws and stuff
ACL,
in my knee.
Yeah.
So I needed it, but...
pun.
Yeah. Knees.
Knees duts.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I took the sting out of what you were saying.
Exactly.
Sorry.
But nonetheless, it's impressive what he's done as well.
Yeah.
Like the way he's turned it around.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Well, I guess for the rest of this pod, we should probably, you kind of touched on it as well. We should give people a little bit of insight as to who you are, because they know me. Like, thank you to everyone who's jumped on, by the way, because we got like at the time we recorded this.
That was huge. I remember like our rooms are next to each other. You can probably see the doors in the background. But Jesse was recording his
nuts
last True Footy. It was the footy tipping one.
Yeah, footy tipping. Yeah,
and he gave the shout out, and I could obviously hear it. And then I jumped on.
Thank you.
I jumped on and had a look, and there was like 23 subscribers already. Yeah. And I was just like,
what?
I just know personally I would never subscribe to anything if there wasn't any content on there. If there was nothing to watch, I'd be like, what is this? Like,
yeah.
It just looks like one of those like fake Instagram accounts that just have like beautiful girls, but like no followers.
Yeah.
I'm not following that.
Well, I'd like to think, I mean, I upload like 3 times a week, so I'd like to think people would trust it if I was.
Yeah. But I was actually reading the comments, and the comments are like extremely positive.
Yeah.
For your True Footy stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There was a few doggins in there, but like.
Oh, it always is. Oh, especially on the footy tips one, because it attracts more of an audience, like more flogs jump in. But.
Yeah. And I get footy tippings very easy to debate. Like if you tip against someone's team, like they're gonna go in. But then it was good to see because I saw one comment that sort of annoyed me. But then everyone that had comment prior just like jumped on and just and just outed him and just like basically just said like if you don't like it, get off. Like no one wants you here anyway. So it was cool to see, but I thought that was pretty cool. Like it seems like you got a cool fan base.
I do. I will say, like, well, if they're watching this, they're probably into True Footy enough, and we're probably the people we're talking about. Do you know what I mean? Like the people watching this are probably the people we're talking about.
Yes. So thank you.
I'm very grateful. No, it is true. So it is sick. So yeah, thank you to everyone who jumped on for like no reason. Because they'll know to an extent me, I guess.
Yeah.
But what's your story? You're a Geraldton boy.
Yeah. So born and raised in Geraldton, was there until 17. Then I moved to Perth to try and crack the AFL, play Colts. We had 3 pre-season games, played well, and I was like, it's going to be a good year. And then round 1, broke my wrist. First quarter, round 1.
Is this Colts underage year? So like 17?
Yeah. So this is my draft year.
Oh, your draft year, okay.
This is my draft year.
Yeah.
So, broke my wrist, game over, back to Geraldton.
Fuck, that sucks.
Yeah, so it was weird. Like, I definitely wasn't ready. Like, I was so keen to go home by the time that happened.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
It was almost a blessing in disguise because prior to the injury, like, I definitely didn't want to be here.
How long were you in Perth before that happened?
Well, I would have came down before December because pre-season starts about November, and I think I did like a month in Geraldton, and then I came down. Yeah, I would have came down like early December, and then did December, and then did January, February, and then I forget when the season starts, but I feel like it's like early March.
Yeah.
So that was about then. So I would have been 4 months.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that would be shit. So you just hated Perth when you moved to it?
Yeah, and I was just like so immature. Like I naturally am immature for my age.
Yeah.
But just at 17, like when you watch the guys that get drafted 1 and 2 and 3 or in the top lottery, like I just wasn't that. I was just like smaller. I was just like immature.
Yeah.
I just like, and I mean, if I got drafted to like a Melbourne team, like knowing who I am now, like I don't think I could have got through it.
Yeah. I mean, you're making that extra jump from like the country to Perth to start and then relocating to like Melbourne or something would be pretty
insane.
hectic.
And so anyone that does that, like that's respect. Like that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
I mean, there's plenty of like country boys. And then you guys got guys from like hardcore regional Australia, like Liam Jara.
That would be insane.
That's hardcore. Like
yeah.
he barely spoke English, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I thought when Melbourne picked him up, he didn't speak English.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really wild. But
yeah, that is. Yeah, it's sick.
The talent in those sort of guys, though, like it's like Liam Ryan's another. I grew up with Liam Ryan. Played so much footy against Liam Ryan. He played for Rovers. I was Brigades. And I think he might. Is he either a year younger than me or 2 years?
2 years younger.
Right. So he
I
always
just
played
know
up.
that off the top of my head.
He always played up.
Yeah.
So he always played against us, and was just always like this natural freak talent.
Yeah.
Never had the size though, which is crazy. He grew up very, very small.
Oh, okay.
And now he's a decent height now.
Yeah, I was going to say he's like 5'11". No, he's not quite that tall. I think he was listed, like people were saying he was like 6'1" pre-draft, and then the Eagles drafted him and he's like 5'11".
Oh, okay.
Well, but that's still pretty tall kind of for like a small forward. Mind you, he plays kind of tall. But
I mean, when you can jump like that, like, it doesn't really matter anymore. Like,
he's a sick player, hey?
Yeah.
He's turned out so much better than I thought he was going to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I just thought, okay, good waffle, because he's mature age, good waffle goal kicker. These guys usually carve out a few years in the AFL.
Yep.
And I was like, Willie Rioli is so much more talented. It's probably still true because I love Willie Rioli. But his second year, Liam Ryan, so 2019, unbelievable. He's like a good AFL player.
He was very good.
Yeah,
he was very good.
I love him.
I mean, that mark that he took, I'm pretty sure he was the one that kicked it to Dom Sheed.
I thought it was maybe Kennedy. Are you talking about when he marked on Gawn?
Yes.
Yeah, so he kicked it, I'm pretty sure it's Kennedy, and then Kennedy lops it up, and then Ryan literally sprints to go mark it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you do things like that on the big stage,
I watched that whole play. I was at the game. That was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
Oh, it would be, especially live.
Yeah.
It'd be insane.
Yeah, because I was like watching him sprint. And I was like, holy shit, he's going to get to this.
Yeah.
Unbelievable play.
Yeah, he can move too. He's got some toe.
Yeah, good dancer for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, back to you. How realistic was the AFL dream for you? I remember, did you say that you got interviewed by St Kilda? Did you tell me that once?
No, so what happened was I played like my first preseason game and I played pretty well, and I went and had dinner at my coach's house. And then all that sort of stuff came out later, so that they sort of hid that from me. It was more like my coach and my parents. And then so it was probably like 6 months ago that my dad said like, yeah, you were very close. Like you had clubs looking and we had heard of clubs inquiring about you. But this was all based off 2 preseason games.
Yeah, okay.
Do I think that I could have made it if things fell my way? Probably not. I don't think I could, and I much rather what I do now. I'm happy with my life now, and I don't envy the AFL guys anymore.
Sure.
After just being in the system, and there's so many better players than me. Like growing up in Geraldton, it's definitely like
Geraldton's produced some fucking good players, man. Like
Northampton in particular. Like Northampton, you got all the Cripses.
Yeah.
You got Josh Kennedy.
Why Geraldton? Because I'm from Bunbury and we've produced like 1 or 2 AFL players in the last decade that I can think of, like Jamie Bennell, Adam Hunter, and maybe like a few others. Yeah. What the fuck?
I honestly
Bunbury
don't.
has more people. I'm very confident saying that.
And I believe the Bunbury League is better than the Geraldton League.
Is it?
Well, when we played Country Week, because that's not Lower South West, it's the South West Football League.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, they from when like that era, like the era of like from Josh Kennedy to maybe like 2-3 years ago, I just always remember like South West Football League being the toughest football league in Country Week football. Like when we would play them, like they were always just so good.
Yeah.
So I honestly don't know why. Like
it is weird.
It is weird.
Well, tell me about that. Didn't you like watch a grand final where Jager O'Meara and Jack Martin were playing on each other, and they were underage playing league? Like that's sick. Like you never get that in Bunbury.
It was a good league. Like it was a really good league, and it's funny because it has gone to crap from what I've heard now, and I think that's just because. I want to use the word globalization, but it's not that because like globalization is obviously.
I want to use the word French Revolution, but that's the wrong phrase entirely.
But like it's because we're more connected, and moving to Perth is more of a viable option than what it was 10, 20 years ago.
So what are you saying?
So good players get snatched up way easier.
Okay, yeah.
So instead of having those country guns that then marry a country girl and then produce a Josh Kennedy, a Jamie Cripps, a Patrick Cripps.
Yeah.
They would then now, if they were born in this generation, just like the guys I just mentioned, they get shipped off to Perth.
Yeah, okay.
So before that didn't happen.
Yeah, right.
So you have more like local guns producing these young kids.
Okay.
That turn out to be guns.
Yeah, right. I suppose it's much easier as well for Bunbury people to move up to Perth.
Well, yeah, really good. Down the road, really, isn't it?
Yeah, by your standards for sure. Yeah, but so like, how'd you go from 18-year-old sort of like didn't get drafted. You were a carpenter at the time, or an apprentice? Were you an apprentice at 18?
Apprentice,
yeah. Okay. How do you get from there to being a property valuer? And sum it up in just 25 words or less.
Very difficultly, I'll say that.
Yeah, because you said it before. Well, actually, I can't remember if you alluded to it before. You have learning disability.
Yep.
Dyslexia.
So,
what was school like for you?
Fucked.
Cool.
No, not good. And it was a combination of just being dyslexic, being immature, and not caring. I went to like private schools and all that kind of good stuff, so I was lucky that I had that. If I didn't have that sort of structure and the like discipline that a private school gives you, I probably would have been way worse. But school wasn't good. So school wasn't good. My parents got to it was after year 10 and sort of said, this is costing a lot. Like, you're not going to do this. Like, for the last 3 years you've talked about getting an apprenticeship. Like, let's just bite the bullet and do it.
Yeah.
And because I was going into year 11 and I just chose all sport subjects, like woodwork, metalwork. Like, I was just doing nothing. Like, there was no TE involved at all.
Yeah.
I was just going there just to have fun with my friends.
Yeah.
So they sort of pulled me out and put me into a TAFE course, a pre-apprenticeship for carpentry, which then I ended up getting an apprenticeship out of, and then going into that. And then to go to your question, how did I get into uni? It just come to a stage in my life where I was not comfortable with not at least trying, and because it was always a thing of that was my pure weaknesses. So while I struggle in that, I have strengths in so many other things, which was my sport, which was all that kind of stuff. So it just got to a stage where I just wasn't happy with just calling it a weakness and just being like, I don't worry about it.
When you were a kid and you were in high school, did you hate school? Was there a part of you that was like, I wish I was more academic? Or what?
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
Oh, you were like that?
That's
because most kids aren't though.
That started at a young age.
Right.
Yeah.
But because the kids I went to school with, some of the vlogs would just be like, fuck school and not even...
No, so I tried and I wanted to be good.
Yeah.
I just simply couldn't.
Yeah.
Okay. I tried, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Did you know you had dyslexia the whole time?
No, so I was diagnosed year 7.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty late.
So it took a while, and I got tested for everything, like ADD, ADHD, and the
HIV,
all of that.
All positive.
Yeah, and yeah, my teachers used to beg my mother to put me on Ritalin.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
and she refused. Right?
Refused. Yeah, my mum was not about it. She was like, "Nah, I want to see if he can sort his own stuff out." Which, luckily, in the end, I did. And I think that was just that was a turning point. Was just having all this energy and just it wasn't like I was bad at scoring like that, even though it was purely reading and spelling. I just couldn't put words together for a long time. I couldn't read them. I couldn't put them together. But other than that, I was always intelligent. I wasn't a dummy. I was smart. I just that was my pure weakness. Yeah. And then, like I said, just got to a point in life where I just wasn't comfortable with just running from it. Because you get those guys and they say, "Oh, I hate paperwork."
Yeah.
I was one of those guys. If someone, I was a carpenter and they said, "Oh, you couldn't do this paperwork." No, I hate paperwork.
Wow.
I just wasn't comfortable with that. I was like, no, I can't live with that. I leave it at least. And going to uni, it wasn't about getting a job. It wasn't about getting a better job. It was just I want to go to uni just to accomplish that. Let me see what happens after that. It was more about building up my skills that I just felt like I was really behind and lacking.
Yeah, that's sick, man. And then, I love this story because you literally, I remember when you came to Perth and you started uni and you picked a fucking hard degree as well.
Yeah.
I did law and marketing, but I feel like I would have struggled to do property. That's one of the hardest, if not the hardest.
Well,
commerce major.
Yeah, and then you can talk to anyone in any commerce major and they'll say mine's the hardest.
Yeah.
But I have heard and teachers have
property, maybe accounting, economics and finance, those are the heavy hitters.
Yeah. If you just do just a pure major in marketing and HR, that would be an easy one to go.
Yeah.
I definitely went for a very finance-driven course, which makes it harder.
Yeah. Did you want to make a lot of money? Was that your ambition at the time?
I definitely am money-driven.
Yeah.
Definitely am money-driven. But, I was always if your parents ask you what you want to do when you're older, I was always a builder. It's all I wanted to do.
Right.
And, I knew that I wanted to be within that sort of sector. It was just, narrowing down where exactly. And then so I finished my carpentry apprenticeship and I was like, cool, carpentry, at no point in my life did I ever want to be a carpenter. It got offered to me. I was like, it's the path that I want to go down, it's just not the end goal. So I was like, let me do this. I think what a carpenter knows and can do is very cool. like that, the fact that I can just build things really easily with my hands, and you learn more about like structure, integrity of things, and where weight bearing is and where it's not, and how you can utilize that and all that kind of stuff. So it was interesting skills and knowledge to learn. And then as soon as I finished, I remember the very next day I was like on all the uni websites looking at bridging courses. Like I didn't work as a tradesman as all. I finished my apprenticeship and then I was like straight on to the next. Wow. And I was so young, so I was just like, because I started so young.
Yeah.
I started like 15. I was about to turn 16. Finished it at like 19, and then so went to uni. I was about 20 when I went to uni.
Yeah. Wow. But that's a tough grind, man.
Yeah, it is tough. And like the first bit of uni was like a struggle. Like I'm just talking like I had two goals going into uni. One was like every semester I wanted my average grade to go up.
Yeah. And
the other was I never wanted to fail a unit. Like whatever it took, I was going to do it. Yeah. And like there was like a couple of 50 on the noses. There was some tight ones, but it just But it just always just came down to like you're either gonna accept that you're not gonna do it, or you're gonna stay up all night and just study for this. Yeah. And like when it came down to those moments, like although like I struggle in a lot of things, like one thing I don't struggle with is like my the mental strength to be able to just like it was just failing wasn't an option, and I did so many all-nighters just purely because I knew like I need to do well in this, otherwise I failed. Yeah. And failing a unit wasn't like what I was gonna do. So it comes down to that. So I definitely had a lot of attributes that helped me through uni. Yeah. It was just like the dyslexia that hindered me. But it's tough because no one at uni knew that I was dyslexic. Yeah. So there was a lot of things that I could have gotten, a lot of benefits. Yeah, right. I could have got a reader. So someone would have sat with me and read my exam for me. Wow. And I could have got, so like, I think they call them like a translator, even though it's not really translating. Yeah. And then you also can get a scribe, so someone to write for you. Yeah. So I didn't want that. I was like, dictate it. I'm not doing that. Like if I'm doing it, I'm doing it with everyone else. Even at my work, no one knows that I am dyslexic. And it was never a thing that, I just wasn't, that wasn't going to be the thing that helped me get through uni. I was like, if I'm doing it, I'm doing it the same way that everyone else does.
That's cool, man. I do have this memory of being in the lab with you once, and just studying. And, I have a memory of showing you a meme and being like, look at this still. Read it.
It took me 20 minutes.
And you're, looking over my shoulder, going, and kind of like a kid. And I don't mean that in a mean way. Nah, but, fuck, man, if you look at a meme and it's, you actually have to really focus. I can't imagine how the fuck you got through your So it was a sick effort.
It was tough. But, I feel like my growth through uni is probably exceeds other people's growth. Just because I started at such a low point. Yeah. I could only get better from there. So, but I remember it was 21, which was probably a year into uni, was the first time that I really felt I could read. Wow. I remember having a thought, I read, I read I think it was a lecture or something, and I read a snippet. And read it fluently and just sort of stopped myself caught myself
God damn!
I just read that really easily.
Smartest man in the world. I'm never gonna die.
I literally felt like that. Yeah. But it's just funny. But it just comes down to if you really want to do it.
What did you put that down to? Did you actually just practice?
Yeah. And that's the thing. And that was my theory. Was if I mean how you go to uni 3-4 days a week and you'll be there. On average, maybe 4 or 5 hours, would you say? Yeah. So imagine if you kicked a footy 3-4 times a week for 5 hours.
Yeah. You're only to the gym that much.
You're only going to get better. So I just put it down to that, and I was like, it's just going to suck at the start, but I just need to put my hours in, work at it. I'm a big fan of the 10,000 hour thing. Yeah. So I just kept doing it and kept practicing. I love Justin Bieber. Great song. But just kept practicing, kept doing it, and that was my method. I was like, I'm just gonna do it by just practicing and repetition. Yeah. And I'm good with words that I've seen. Yeah, okay. If you ask me
recognise it.
Yeah, if you ask me to spell a word that I have never seen, no chance. Yeah. Okay. If you ask me to read a word that I've never used in my vocabulary, not a chance.
Interesting.
I need to know them. I need familiarity. Yeah. Otherwise, I just can't do it.
Yeah, that's really interesting, man. Well, cool, man. I think we've given people a really good taste of our nuts. No, of who you are. And of who we are. We don't want to give all the milk away for free.
Yes.
No, it is for free. But
it is a subscription-based podcast.
It is not. We'll just make that clear. No, that's cool. I think that'll do for episode 1.
Yeah, cool.
Got some pretty good banter. We're late for a prees as well, so we're going to have to come up with an excuse for why we're late. So if they ever watch
more so to change my shirt because I have nervous sweat.
And I have to change my jocks. Alright? Nah, cool, man. How do you feel after your debut?
No, that's good. It was started off weird, but I
started off weird.
It's just like it's just new things like this. But like I said, if you're hide from the things that you're not good at, you're not going to grow as a human. So chuck me on board. I'm down.
What a strangely inspiring first episode of the Coulworld podcast.
And I hate doing all this inspiring stuff. Like I just feel such a flog, but like it is just the reality. So I'm just gonna say it.
I feel like we only kind of scratched the surface of all that stuff anyway. So
yeah, I mean there's a lot more to go. There's a lot more to you and I, and that's why we started the podcast, because we do have deep personalities, and because of that we have deep conversations. So and that was it. We wanted to capture the conversations that we have. Yeah,
and we know some cool people as well with similar stories.
So guests coming. Got a few of our mates that are very talented in certain areas that we're going to have them on, and basically poke and prod.
I'm clipping your reaction. Poke and prod. Nah, totally. I'm looking forward to it, and then there will be some episodes in between where we just chat shit. And,
for sure.
I think there's a bit of an appetite for that, so
yeah,
really good. But
let us know what you like and dislike. But
I will also say we are going to up the production of this a lot more. So this is a single cam operation.
Yeah.
No furniture. We're going to get a second camera. It's going to be a lot better.
Yeah. I need to invest some money as well. So there will be some stuff coming, because at the moment this is all Jesse's things.
Yeah, that's all right. Why buy it if I already had it, right? So yeah. Sure. All right. Well, that'll do. Thank you. See you next time.
Psyched.